you think about Texas, our politicians are bigger than life. Problem, of course, is if you are bigger than life, it means that you're going to make as many enemies as you do friends. Sometimes we don't like people in our face, but it's the Texas way. Watson's running unopposed. He's running against a guy who's never held an elective office. One of the big rules of politics is this: you can't beat a somebody with a nobody. Kirk Watson's a somebody, this guy running is a nobody. One of the great things is if I know I'm going to win, I can spend my money however I want. We know Kirk Watson was in real trouble if he was trying to buy ad time on television, trying to buy radio time, because that would mean somebody serious is challenging him. If you know the outcome of the election, it doesn't matter if you vote or not. More Republican, kind of reverse itself. If you know that the Republicans are going to win, Democrats stay at home because they know the outcome. Republicans stay at home because they say, we already know who's going to win.
I feel like it's easier for, let's say that a representative has been voted for that position for many years. It kind of gets them comfortable. I mean, if they don't have competition, they're not going to go out there and get votes. But if they do have competition, then they're going to do something about it.
People figure, what's the use in voting? That's what people tell me sometimes, but I always vote.
But it has a lot to do with people and the perception of them thinking that their vote doesn't really make a difference, I feel. But when you tell them like, hey, your vote does make a difference, or it can make a difference, and maybe people will change their perspective.
You draw lines that are favorable to your party, district lines. So the Democrats drew the lines back in the 90s, and they wanted to make sure that it elected a Democrat. When the Republicans took over, they said, you know what? This is a Democratic district. We're going to keep it Democratic, but what we're going to do is create safe Republican districts around it. It's called packing. What they've done is they've taken all the Austin liberals and all the Austin progressives, and they said, we're going to pack you all into one district. They said, we're going to take East Austin and pack you all into one district. You can have your district, but in doing that means you're not in the neighboring district. So the center of Austin, Travis County, Democratic, surrounded by very safe Republican districts. Positives and negatives. One of the negatives, of course, is if you draw districts that are safe to one party and you're not in that party, there's not a lot of incentive for you to come out to vote.
It's kind of like this gridlock where, like, you know, the system is kind of playing against itself because they're registered in another county, but they're in school 5 hours away, so they can't go vote over there, and they can't vote here because they're not registered here. So I think that also has a negative effect. And if you put more strict rules, and of course people that may have a social security but don't have a license for whatever reason, you know, can also create problems. Gerrymandering has a lot to do with how the representative goes about representing the communities or the districts that he represents. For example, my state representative has the tip of South Texas, and it goes all the way up until like maybe right before Austin. And so it's like, whoa, that's really diverse. I mean, you have people in South Texas where they know both, you know, they know Spanish and English, and it's a very different culture from as you start traveling more north, and the issues are very different as well. And so I think the size of Texas and the way the districts are divided can have a negative effect on voter turnout, especially if the citizens don't feel like their representative is actually representing them in any way. And if it's only one representative running, you know, they don't have that motivation to go vote for somebody else that might represent them.
Are you aware what district you vote in?
136.
Or who you're... 136?
Yes.
Great. And who's your representative?
Charles Schwartner.
So I feel like something that the candidate can do is get these students involved in a group and help and get them to do something for the community, to inform the community about what is it that the candidate is doing, because it's hard for the candidate to actually go out there and explain to citizens because this candidate has so many other things to do. But if you have, you know, a group of people that are willing to support you and that are willing to go out there and spread the word, then have this group of people actually promote voting and promote the issues that the candidate is trying to promote.
You know who Kirk Watson is?
I don't.
Awesome. Sweet.